Speaking of cars, you've been hearing about this, what is it called, Uber? It's a car service. And I guess you take your smartphone and you push a button and it tells you where the nearest car is. And it's like a ride-sharing sort of thing. Not necessarily a taxi, but these cars have the software in them. You say, oh, there's a car right around the corner and I'm going over to, Dusty Cellar from the Capitol. Or I'm going to Firekeepers today. Can I get an Uber ride? And you push the button and they say, oh, there's a car right around the corner. And they'll take you there, and this is how much it'll cost. And the question is now, what does that mean? Are you covered by insurance because it's not, I guess, technically a cab, or what is it? So we got to get this all squared away, and we're doing that right now on the other end of our AT&T line with Mary Stucco from Farm Bureau Insurance. Welcome back.
Good morning.
So let's say I'm sitting here in the Grand Traverse Pie Company, and I want to go to Marquette, and I push a Uber button and say, oh, there's a car willing to take me there for $50 or whatever. Am I safe doing that? Are there insurance implications?
There definitely is. And this is one of those things where there hasn't actually been any claims yet to test everything. But if you have a personal auto policy, there will be gaps in coverage for both liability and physical damage to the car.
So what could happen? What could go wrong?
Well, what could go wrong is one of the things you could be sued for in a car accident is you cause a death, disfigurement, disability, loss of wages. That's what you can be sued for. It also includes legal defense. So if you are seriously injured or killed in one of these car accidents by another driver, your family may not be able to collect on that. There's also a big question about the medical coverage, because of course in Michigan we have unlimited medical coverage in a car accident. But I've been told by our director of auto at Farm Bureau Insurance that if you have your own personal auto policy, whether you're on your parents' policy, you have your own, if you can't get coverage off of this driver's policy, you should be able to collect off your personal auto policy. So as long as you have that in effect, that portion of it should be okay.
What makes the Uber driver different than a taxi driver?
Well, and this is a big debate that's going on, and I think, I think the city of Ann Arbor's really battled this a lot because these taxi drivers are spending, $30,000 to $40,000 a year for their medallions, which is their license to drive that. These Uber folks are bypassing that. There really is a question. I know talking to the director of auto at Farm Bureau, he also said this may be something down the road that insurance companies will look to try to maybe develop a policy that will cover this. If this is really going to be a trend for the future, we may be able to, whether ourselves or another insurance company or multiple companies, put together a policy that will cover these things. But right now that does not exist.
So do the Uber drivers not have chauffeur licenses, or do you know anything about, I don't know how that
I'm
works.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually got a chauffeur's license, but let's face it, it costs an extra $5 when you go to take your driving test to get a chauffeur's license. But it's having that liability coverage and the proper coverage on your insurance policy. Now, I'll tell you, we can write outside Farm Bureau through brokerage companies, and we did find out if you have a taxi service, your premium's going to be about $20,000 every 6 months to run a taxi service on one car. So that kind of gives you an idea.
What did you say?
$20,000 every 6 months if you're a cab driver and you're sharing your vehicle.
Really?
It'd be like $20,000 to have a commercial policy as a taxi driver. So these taxi drivers are paying huge premium also to insure their vehicles properly, but they're under a commercial policy.
It seems astonishing that you could make that kind of money up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How would you earn enough to pay for the insurance if you had a taxi?
You do a lot of driving.
Jeez, oh man. Well, there's a little insight for you from Mary Stucco at Farm Bureau Insurance at 52 minutes after the hour. Michael Patrick Shields all across the state of Michigan.